A public announcement. There is nothing wrong with your broadcast. Please allow us to redirect your audio. You are about to tune into the middle class dropouts. Enjoy.
Alright, welcome back to the middle class dropouts.
Welcome, dropouts. Welcome back.
How you doing, Vinny? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm blessed to see you.
Exactly.
You know,
Likewise.
another day, another dollar. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm
Good morning. It's a little chilly.
It's a little cold, but who cares?
Studio's feeling a little bit cold, right?
Yeah, but it's, we have something to drink.
Yeah.
Keeps me occupied. Keeps my hands moving.
Exactly.
So I'm fine. I might have to pee a little later, but it's all good.
Yep. So today's topics, we're gonna be touching base on just topics going on in the world.
Yeah.
A little bit of crypto, a little bit of stimulus talk.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, I think we should start with stimulus checks.
All right. Sounds good.
Do you think that these stimulus checks, well, Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion, plan, you think we should use that money to start jobs, like a jobs program, or do you think we should throw most of that money to the rich people, which if they're going to invest it into the economy, right, and build stuff and renovate, I'm okay, but what they're giving to the average American, it's only $1,400, so that might pay your rent for 1 month, but how many months are you already late?
Yeah.
Months that you haven't paid in rent.
Definitely.
So I don't know, man. It's all fishy. It all sounds.
I think honestly, Vinny, I think the 1.9 trillion that they suggested,
right,
sounds all good if it was all going to the people, right?
Right.
Okay, but from there, people have to understand it goes into vaccination. What were you explaining to me this morning? That they're going to use, what was it, $2 billion for
the fraud investigation
against
people who use, who want.
Yeah. So to me, it's like, yeah, $1,400. I mean, that's somebody's rent for 1 month. But they don't take into account what the $600 they gave out. Yeah. That wasn't really much either.
And today,
and then Biden stood in front of everybody and promised 2,000. And then he should have said, "Oh, it's going to be minus the 600," right? No, but that's what he promised, 2,000. And then now they come out with saying, "Oh yeah, well, it's 1,400 plus the 600 where you're going to get your 2,000." And I think it's those 2,000, well, 1,400 can help out a lot of people, and a lot of people should be getting that money. But I think it should be more, man. I mean, at this point, Vinny, if they're going to be printing out all this money, why doesn't it go to the people now? If they're going to be doing, if they're going to be tanking the economy, they might as well start helping out the people.
Correct.
That's just what I believe.
Yeah, and I believe exactly what you're saying. They should be helping out the people. Instead, they don't. And I don't, I feel bad for a lot of Americans who lost their jobs. But most of the time, if you allow the government to take control of your personal life, you're going to end up in a hole. You should always try to see out of it. Don't fall for this stimulus hope. It's false hope. You're not going to go anywhere. Yeah, they added another $100 to unemployment. So if
what
you
was
get
it at? Was it sitting at 300? Now
300,
it's at 400.
Yeah, 400.
Up until
till August 26th.
Yeah, August.
Of September, August. I'm talking about August 26th.
This year.
Until this year, yeah. And so I think most people who fall for this are gonna stay in this hole. This black hole of indebtedness, and I don't know. I don't think it's right.
And they were speaking on credit card relief also. What do you think on that? I know there were some senators speaking on that, because you got to think too. I mean, if I have 750 credit and
good,
I'm not. No, I'm just saying hypothetically, and I have $50 in the bank, but I have $15,000 worth of credit line. I mean, and if that's in the way of you and feeding your family, you're gonna use those cards. You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares at that point? So yeah, I mean, I think it just it was very unprecedented what happened, and what is going on, and it's tough, man. It's tough to say. It's tough to say what can happen.
Yeah, I mean, and then today we had another 700,000 plus people file for new unemployment claims. So every week it's about 700 to 800,000 new unemployment filings, and these numbers come out on Thursday. So I think it's those numbers are only going to add up, right?
Mhm.
And so these people getting unemployment are still going to get their $300 a week. Eventually, you're going to run out of unemployment, and you're not
Yeah.
going to be able to file again. And if these jobs don't come back, which they're probably not, especially if they want like a $15 minimum wage, that's really not going to help out the average person, because then whoever's sitting in the um like the owner position, it's not going to just want to hire a random kid for $15 an hour. He's going to want somebody with some skills, with some form of accountability.
Yeah, to get the $15 max out of that person.
Exactly, because now it costs, and this is just California, right? We're just speaking about businesses in California. That's our home state, and most of these businesses won't be able to push for a $15 wage, right? They're going to try to find people who could work on the side, maybe not use their social security and work under the table.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, what's going to happen. And $15 minimum wage is going to kill a lot of small businesses who are barely getting by the federal minimum wage or whatever the city minimum wage might be, right?
Yeah, and this whole Corona thing, man. I mean, it knocked down a bunch of businesses as it is.
It did, right?
You can see a lot of businesses are struggling, and they do give out, what is it, the PPP loans and the EIDL loans that they were giving out with the stimulus checks. But that can only get you so far. I mean, as a business owner, if you are a business owner, I mean, that's tough decisions you have to face. Cutting staff, paying rent, and a lot of small businesses tend to put their own money into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's tough, man. It's a tough situation to be in. And how do you fix that? What needs to happen? How do we get out of this mess?
Well, it's not. That's a really hard question, because you have to come to reality, right? You have to come to these reality thoughts and not just think about the future and think what the future could do for you, right? You have to think about today,
Yeah.
what's going on right now, right? And if you realize what's going on right now in reality, businesses who were more in the service industry, whether it's restaurant, bars, anything service that comes,
or
entertainment, you're kind of priced out and you won't come back
Yeah.
for a long time. And I think we need to start over, to be honest with you. To be really honest, we need to start over. How we fix it is, and it's going to sound messed up, but we should have no wages, have people work for whatever a small entrepreneur, business person can afford to pay, right? Find that value. So if you're starting a small business and right off the bat you have to come up with $15 an hour, you multiply that by 40 hours, multiply that by whatever many days in a month, whatever. And then insurances, workers' comp, when you factor everything
State
in,
disabilities, taxes.
yeah, you won't be able to start a small business, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
Most people won't, especially guys that are our age or young or want to be an owner of a business, to price in $15 to their expenses. It's a lot of money for some businesses, right? Especially new businesses or businesses that were knocked down and now they have to reopen, and maybe the profit isn't as good as it used to be, so they can't take that risk. I think we should start over with the minimum wage. Just let's not have a minimum wage, because effectively, if you're priced out, then your real minimum wage is zero, because you're earning nothing. You're staying at home. Nobody wants to hire you. So I think it sounds crazy to say that, but it makes sense if you're going to already start the economy all over again. If we're going to have a reset, let's have a reset of real market value, find its equilibrium on where we're at and go forward, not really beat around the bush and just say, oh, things will get better eventually. Eventually we'll get back. Eventually you guys will get your jobs and everything will be humming like it was prior to the COVID pandemic, right? Which is not. It's not going to happen. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take capital. It's going to take rich people. But with the laws that we have and regulations, all that capital is leaving California and going to places like Texas and Florida, Arizona. So most of these people who are leaving California, they won't be coming back. They're not going to be like, oh, yeah, let me just take another chance with California and hopefully I don't get shut down.
That's the California exodus right there, man. Everybody, I mean, and regular residents too, man. A lot of people are leaving. I was reading this thing that was saying how Texas is afraid that
Oh.
Californians are gonna bring their
Yeah.
the libertarian ideas over.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, hey, if you get an influx of people, I mean, I see why they would be a little concerned about that. But yeah, honestly, man, here in California, it's tough. It's the Hollywood lifestyle, that everybody wants to. Not everybody, but that's what people that come over from different states that have artistic skills. They chase that, but it's sad to say a lot of those people end up homeless, man.
Mhm. Well, they're priced out. That's the
Yeah.
reason why inflation picks up and they can't find a job because they want everything to be paid for by taxpayers. And unfortunately, that doesn't work, because most taxpayers are going to go broke and they're not going to want to pay taxes, or if anything, they're getting money from the government. So who's paying for that, right? Inflation does. Our currency, what we're using. I mean, Americans, we should come together to realize that, hey, we have a gift here. That gift is the world's reserve currency. What does that mean? Well, in United States, specifically California, it doesn't mean shit. You're just paying a lot of taxes on that currency. But in the bigger scheme of things, the whole world is suffering because you could earn $1. They need dollars, like Southern America, all those countries need dollars to pay for their debts because their pesos are going to inflation. And so what we should do is invest in Mexico, right? Actually have like communities of, 10, 15 people, maybe less, but get these people and say, hey, let's go create capital in Mexico. We'll use cheap labor because that's what it comes down to, right? You're paying them in dollars. And already what did we say yesterday? Or the other time we were here that the average wage in Mexico is like $35
a week. I think
a
that's
week.
Don't quote us on it, but it's kind of what it is. Yeah.
Right. But if you want to be a capitalist, right? If you want to improve your lifestyle, you're gonna have to think outside the box. Don't think, oh, I'm gonna open up a barbershop and make my own money.
Yeah.
No, your currency is gonna be devalued. With time, your dollars will be devalued. But if you understand that and you could see other opportunities outside of California, or within California, if you're a tech company, right? If you're a startup or whatever, you see value. Of course, get some capital, whatever. But if you think of it the way I think of it, like, wow, I have the world's reserve currency. All I have to do is get out of my comfort zone and go invest elsewhere with like-minded people, and then continue with that. It will, as long as you put in the effort and you visualize it, it'll happen. It'll come true. Effort's the main key, though, because without taking that first step, consistency is key too.
Yeah, I mean, it is it's remarkable what you're saying, man, because it is true. I'm a swole believer in if you believe in it and you do it,
Right.
it will happen. Taking small little steps. That's what we're talking about. Taking small little steps can go a long way. So, but going back to California, that's why a lot of businesses are leaving too. The taxes.
Yeah.
You have to pay state taxes. You have to pay all kinds of taxes here. So I think that's the reason they're leaving. I think that's the reason a lot of small businesses don't make it, and that's the reason you have a lot of non-registered businesses, that are successful, because then they're just collecting cash, and they don't have to. I'm not gonna knock nobody's hustle. Everybody does what they have to do.
Right.
But that's what you have to do to get away from those regulations that are here set in California. And at the end of the day, why are they illegal? Because then they can't get their pinch of the money, right? So that's what I think.
Yeah, I think California just created the biggest black market, because all these people who live in California that didn't get a stimulus or didn't get their unemployment, they're still working. They're working under the table, though.
Yeah,
they're not
for
going to
sure.
stop working because a fucking governor said,
Yeah.
you got to be working.
Especially when you have primarily Hispanics, they're not
Yeah.
going to take no for an answer. We don't, as a community, we don't. You
We
hustle
don't.
and you hustle.
Yeah, you find your way. You get your money and you move
Yeah.
on. You keep moving. If you stay behind because you want the government to come and save you,
Give out handouts, it's not going to happen.
they're gonna leave you behind.
Yeah.
The government ain't gonna turn back.
And they've been doing it, man. Look who they choose to protect. It's always going to be the wealthy. I mean,
Yeah.
we're just the
lower denominator.
Yeah, we're just the rug.
Yeah.
They keep getting stepped on, and that's what we want to talk about in this show. How do we get out of that? What steps do we take to create generational wealth? What steps do we take to put a dent in our generations? Because we don't come from nothing. So
Right.
what can we do now so our kids can be set like other parts of society have been, generational wealth. When we pass away, can we leave them properties? Can we leave them assets? Can we leave them, something that they can be like, hey man, well, look at this old fucker, he did all this for us. That's what we're going to talk about in this show.
Well, one thing I for sure will start with that I think has more value than money is relationships, right? Relationship with people will go longer than money does. I mean, money will always be there, of course. If you're working for someone and they're paying you and you have a good relationship and you decide to move move your career to another part in life and you move back and that person's there and you had a good relationship, well, they'll hire you back. Chances are they will, because they know you, but you have to have that good first impression. But relationships is key, right? So first start relationships with people in a good way, in a genuine way, ways where you could be an asset to them and value, and not just be a burden and just be like, oh, this guy's going to ask me for money again. No, like really prove your worth, right? I think that's how we should start off with making relationships, making sure that you and the person you're trying to partner up with have a good talking, communication, conversations, and then, plan it out, right? Get together and say, okay, we're like-minded people. I have X in savings. You have X in savings. We both have some debt, maybe not enough. Maybe not a lot of debt, but some debt. Now, how can we use our capital that we have right now, knowing that we have debt, but leveraging ourselves to get out of this debt? And then taking those necessary steps, not being afraid. I'm not afraid to take these steps. I mean, thank God I have right now no debt, but when I do get debt, I handle it the way I should. It's, depending on if it's real estate, leverage that debt with real estate. If it's fucking credit card debt,
consumer debt, get rid of it.
Just get rid of that. You don't need that in your life. If you could pay for something, just pay it. Of course, if you have good credit and you're working on your credit, that's one thing. But if you're in a hole and you're waiting on stimulus and you have debt and all you're waiting is for more money and you're not worrying about your debt, you're like, I'm going to just get more debt loaded up. You're going to get sunken into this hole deeper and deeper, and you won't come out. You won't come out. You probably do some jail time.
Yeah, and a lot of people can relate to that, man. And especially now in this times that, like I said, if it's either eating or not messing up your credit, I mean, most people are gonna use that credit,
Right.
But when all this is said and over with, work on getting out of debt, work on not having debt. Right. Personally, I mean, it is hard, it is hard to do, to see all those credit cards and you're gonna be like, oh, what do they say? If you want something, walk away from it, and then the next day you won't want it anymore,
Right.
So do that. Like, if you really think you need those pairs of shoes, like, all right, let me think about it. Sleep on it, and tomorrow you probably like, I don't even need them. That's a good little rule of thumb. Yeah, and to touch base on what you said about networking, I think it is true, man. And something I see, and because we're Hispanic,
right,
something I see a lot in the Hispanic culture is a lot of envy, and it's sad,
Oh.
It is sad, dude, because I see other communities and, they help each other.
Right.
And I think and I'm not saying everybody's like that, but the people that I've seen and the people I've been around, you got a Hispanic neighbor and you're automatically like, oh, how can you even afford those cars? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're so quick to be envious instead of helping each other out. And I think that derives from everybody, the Hispanics coming into this country and then being like, oh, nah, let's not help them out. They didn't help us out. Like, look what's going on in Mexico and all those Central American countries where you have people coming from Honduras.
Right.
I mean,
Guatemala,
you can be like, hey, some people do help them out, but some people are like, hey, you can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. I'm not saying, but hey, they have their own reasons.
Correct.
Right? I mean, their countries are probably corrupt as hell, so they have their reasons to come. But then they're passing through Mexico, and I think Mexico, then, like, Mexicans feel like, oh, look at these people, they're lower than us, and then they tend to kick. And, we're all Hispanic here, we're all in the same melting pot. So, but I see that a lot, dude, and it's true, man. Like, networking, maybe we should help each other out more, instead of
being so envious.
And speaking out, like, and not being afraid to speak out.
Right.
If you see something's going on with your friends, your family, be like, hey, man, like, this isn't. I know it's nice to have nice things, but hey, if you invest that this way, because nobody tells you that, I see it a lot in the like I said, in other communities.
Right.
In the Hispanic community, I don't tend to see that. I think it's like, oh, we can get a book off of this guy. Let's do it.
Right.
And it's sad.
Yeah, it is. And we tend to use each other, for good things, and we tend to use each other for bad things, for our own personal gain.
Yeah.
And that's like that, it's everywhere. That's in church. If you go to church, you see families in church. It's not just as a culture. I mean, you see this everywhere, right? But I know that there's good people out there with good intentions, and then there's bad people with bad intentions.
Yeah.
And you could feel that energy when you're around those people. You could already see who's in it just to make a quick buck and who's in it for the long run. And that's commitment, with relationships. You have to commit to that person you're willing to trust and go business with, right? You can't just always think negative, like, oh man, this motherfucker made it and I didn't. Exactly. What does he have that I don't have? Or I have more. How is it that I'm not there?
Yeah.
I've encountered this in my life, and
that's what I
never hate.
That's what I was just gonna ask you. How many ideas have you had, and you tell people, and you expect to get a certain reaction from them, and it's completely opposite? And I was like that, and I learned at a young age that if I want to do something, I tend to keep it to myself, because then you're not vulnerable to the people being negative, And it's very hard. We can say, hey, let's be strong-minded and like not let it affect us, right? But it's hard. It's a hard thing to do, right? I can say like, oh yeah, I don't let negative things affect me, but they do. So how do you do that? You just don't open yourself to those situations,
or you just don't give a fuck. To be honest, I don't give a fuck.
But what made you get to that point? You know what I'm saying? Like it's not to say it's easy for you to say if that's how you feel, but say you're telling me that, but I'm a very like, I get affected a lot. How can I be like that? I'm not gonna give a fuck. And personally, I tend to not give a fuck. But I'm saying people out there, some people are probably asking that.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's different, right? Some people like that hatred. I kind of like it because it makes me feel like, okay, I'm at least doing something that someone doesn't like. That I'm normal. I'm a normal person. People aren't gonna like what you do, and that's fine. Accept it. That's part of life. You're gonna have people that are gonna doubt you. You need that doubt. If everybody said, "Oh, don't worry, you're gonna be a superstar. You're gonna be a superstar. Oh, you're gonna get a trophy too. Oh, don't worry about it. You didn't make it in first place. You came in last. You're gonna be fine." That could take you down a wrong path. If you're not shown reality, like, hey, you kind of have to work on this. Maybe you did good, but how about we work on your strides? Let's work on your strides, and let's see if we could bump you up a few. Instead of just giving you a participation trophy, you're gonna be soft, and you're always gonna have that soft mentality. Now, I'm not saying you.
No, of course.
I'm just saying.
Speak to me. I'm sitting in front of you, bro.
Not you, but of course, if you allow that to allow that to be absorbed by your body and your mind and your soul, then you're gonna come out. You're gonna get far in life, maybe, but you're gonna have that soft side. Maybe but I really do care what they say, or man, I really should do this because they might care, and maybe I should go along with whatever topic is going on because they might not like me. I say fuck all that. I say, well, first, I don't have social media to begin with. I had it in the past, but I stopped using it for more than a few years now, and I've been strong on not using social media. To be honest, I don't use any of it for anything, and I like it. It's allowed me to free my mind and just let me think on my own, and I'm able to process things a little more efficient because I could use the time I'm taking a shit on instead of being on social media, right? When I'm going to the restroom and just scrolling for 30 minutes mindlessly, I'm actually researching something that I find interesting, right? I'm taking my time, just researching.
You're being effective with your time.
Yeah, I'm using my time wisely. And when I'm, driving to work, I use my time wisely. I put on a podcast that I like, or if I want to get into a topic, whether it's cryptocurrencies or what's going on with Iran or whatever, I'll listen to a podcast or to some news source that are speaking about this and just hear them out, hear their perspective, journalists and whatnot. And on the same way, on my way back from work and throughout work, because my job gives me I love my job. So it allows me to really get into these things, right? And that's how I use my time to not give a fuck about what people think about me, because I really don't. If I spend all my time caring or have a fraction of that then it's gonna fuck me up because I'm a guy who likes to focus in on things. And yeah, I mean, I could have people yelling on my face. It's not gonna break my composure. I'm gonna keep my composure, but I'm not gonna be distracted. You know, I'm gonna be focused on the task, and whatever that task is, I have the time to do it instead of using social media for different things.
And do you think? I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you think that being strong-minded like that could be a double-edged sword in a way that you're not subject to listen to others, right?
Right.
Constructive criticism
Mhm.
or just criticism as in general.
Mm.
Do you think that stops you from being like that, or do you still think you're able to take criticism, realize when you're wrong, and be like, okay, I see what I did, right? And
Yeah.
but still have the attitude like, because you can be like, okay, fuck you, I don't care, but what you said got to me, and yeah, I think you're right. I was wrong at that point. What do
Yeah.
you think about that?
No, that's a good question. And I love criticism because, again, I have all the time in the world to reflect. And when I have time to reflect, I'm a very common sense guy. So if I see something that I know as well, it's common sense that I took a step outside my boundaries and kind of went at a person wrong, and that's me. Then I'll address it to myself, and then I'll address it to the person and apologize. I'm not afraid to say sorry. That's another thing. I'm not a machismo to say like, oh, I'm right and I'm always right. No. I've been wrong several times in my life, enough times to know that it's good to apologize. It's always good to give the benefit of the doubt, and I do that
And
a lot.
what road did you take to learn that? Like, how long did it take you to realize like?
Not. I mean, again, I could tie a lot of this up to the way I grew up, but if I were to key in on one thing, it'd be the fire academy, because you have to check your ego there.
Mhm.
You come in with a bunch of different guys from different backgrounds, and being a wildland firefighter, it's hard, bro, especially through the fire academy in Rio Hondo College. That is difficult. It's not easy. The first 2 weeks are trying to make you to quit as bad as possible. I mean, there's a there's a hill. It's called Nike Hill, and if you're not used to it and this is your first time in the academy and you haven't really ran, you were just like, oh, I got in good, and I'm one of the. I think you start off with like 70 people, and
Mhm.
it drops down to like 39 people who
Wow.
graduate. And I was grateful to be one of those 39 that graduated the whole 16 weeks. But if you're not familiar with that hill, you get familiar quick, and then you realize, oh shit, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
Of course, if you stick it out with the good mentality and integrity, right, you have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined with yourself and do the right things, because there's a list of things you need to take to. There's a list of things you need to bring every day. It could be 2 pairs of socks, 2 pairs of pens, 2 pairs of pencils. If you're a squad leader, you want to bring extra stuff in case your guys are missing stuff. You could fill it in, because instructors come by and they inspect all your equipment. So if you're a squad leader, you want to have more, right? So you, even if you're not a squad leader, you still want to practice that, just in case someone in your team is failing for what on a certain task, right? And so all that played in to this mentality that I got from it, right? Of discipline, integrity, being charitable, not wanting for anything back. Just do your part. Work hard. Do your part. Don't be afraid of a mistake, because your guys are there to help you out. And that camaraderie goes a long way. So there's a couple guys that I still talk to. I'll call up and whatever. And they're doing great. They love the job. I wish I could have done it, but I just, I saw the pay scale, to be really honest, and I saw how we were being exploited through the prison system and how they're using slave labor to fight the fires that our guys could be out and just doing. And yeah, some of them might say, oh, well, they're just cleaning up all the dirty work, the leftover. Yeah, but that's good experience for new guys to get in and to do that, to start off and realize that.
So you don't agree with that?
I don't agree with that. Not at all. Not even the Netflix one that they called Chasing Fire, some bullshit fucking documentary they did about the prison labor. That's all fucking bullshit. Yeah, it's good for them that they got their own experience, because I did meet guys in the academy that didn't last, that did fire in the prison camps. Like, they went, not fought fires, but they would just clean up crew. But they didn't last. And I'm not saying that you won't last. I'm just saying that you take away from the bigger picture, right? You take away from these guys earning a better living and, moving up.
So me playing devil's advocate here, if I'm in prison, and I do that, what are they paying, like 25 cents a day, is it something like that?
Yeah, about 25 cents a day.
And
Maybe
I'm
a
one of
little
those
bit more.
guys, and I have, I fucked up in my life, and now I have this going, I have these dreams that once I get out of here, because once they get out, they still can't get hired, right? Because they're convicted felons.
It
That's
depends.
what they're trying to change that, I think.
It depends. Yeah, it depends who you get hired on with.
And I'm one of those guys. What can I do different then, from your point of view?
I mean, for sure, you want to. I mean, how do I explain it? You want to learn from the hotshot guys, right? Or the guys that are type 2 hand crews, but they've been out there for a while and they want to be type A hand crew or hot shots or eventually smoke jumpers. And you want to learn from them, right? Not be, oh, I know it all because I've done it before. You haven't done shit. You've done cleanup crew, but that ain't shit. Like the amount of work, cardio that you need to be an elite hot shot wildland firefighter, it's crazy cardio, and it's not for everybody. Not everybody could hike up a mountain for 12 hours a day wearing 45 pounds, and then having a chainsaw plus 2 canisters to refuel your chainsaw as you're going up and down. It's a lot, It's not for everyone. So, yeah, I mean, if you're that guy, you would want to listen, be a sponge, trying to soak up all the advice. I would try to go into the Rio Hondo's Fire Academy. That's the one thing I would try to do, because it will put you in a better path, because they're just there. If you graduate from their wildland academy plus get the degree after, you're going to be someone to look that other fire agencies will look at to hire. You'll be valuable. They'll see you like, oh, this guy just, not only does he have his certifications through the Rio Hondo Wildland Fire Academy, but he also has his degree. Let me get this guy. Yeah. This guy's gonna go a little further than most people just getting in from the streets.
And I know I took it out of tangent, but
no, it's all right.
Reeling it back to what we were saying. So you take it to that point where, cause see what you were saying, it's true, man. I think a lot of men tend to be egotistic, you know, and we do got to realize there's always a bigger fish out there, that probably knows more than you. If you like to fight, that probably knows how to fight better than you. And there's always like that, Yeah. So I think don't compare yourself to any other men. Be you, and take constructive criticism. Know when you're wrong, but also be affirmative and be like, no, this is what I stand for. And like you said, don't give a damn, right? Don't give a damn, and then that's it.
But it's also good to take criticism. I mean, I take criticism, and I don't hear I hear a lot from my wife, but I mean, she's my wife and I love her, and she can tell me whatever she wants. I'm going to listen, I'm going to be there, all eyes and ears, because this is the person I live with, sleep with.
Exactly.
But I take criticism from other people too. And it's mostly on little things that I probably missed, and I like that. I don't like to be in checked either, but if there's something that I did wrong and it's like something small that I could fix, I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. I mean, normally I'm totally fine with people. I'm easygoing. I don't, push them too hard. It all depends. Yeah. And then I also feel the energy of people. If I don't like your energy or whatever, because I know and I see what you're in it for, then I'm like, let me kind of just back away from this guy.
I'm big on energy too, man. I tend to sense people's true intentions. I'm good at deciphering that, sitting back, and because I'm an analyzer, dude. I won't talk much, but I can sit back like in a group of people and I'll analyze different people. You'll catch me staring, I'm like, not judging, just I like analyzing people, their real intentions and stuff. And I can attest to that it's good to have that skill. I don't even call it a skill. I was just I think it's in, what do you call it, it's not even being street smart, it's just having the intuition. I think it's the word I'm trying to use, intuition, right? To have the intuition to be like, hey, is this person out here really trying to help me, or they're just trying to do something that's gonna benefit them? And there's a lot of people out there, man, that do stuff that only benefits them. Like, if, for example, if I know you have something and I need to get where you are, I mean, it'll be easy for me to be like, hey, Vinny, talk to you for 2 quick seconds, ask about your day, and be like, hey, so what about this? Like, can you help me out with that? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
There's a lot of those people out there that just want to, more for them, less for you and stuff. And I think those are the people you got to watch out for. Not to say, like, don't help out people, but just know people's real intentions.
That's very true.
You
And
know?
some people's real intentions aren't sometimes not real. You know, they might believe those intentions are real, and they might come off like those intentions are real, and it might just be to get into another position in your life and then try to advance themselves until they get to another position and then come back whenever they need, yeah, you're right. Yeah, but anyways, so
What are we gonna? Yeah, that was just a little self talk there.
yeah,
Just to get us started.
I mean, it's good. People who are in a shithole crisis nowadays, you try to get a different perspective. It never hurts.
Yeah.
It never hurts. Just have an open mind, and if you're doing good and you're working, I mean, as well, have another perspective. I don't know. Some people don't like to have an open mind because it'll bring in insecurities that they have, and they might say like, oh, well, that's what I do too. Fuck, I should probably change. Or who knows?
Or
People
my
are
way or
different.
the highway.
It's my way or the highway. That's why
Which
I roll.
is, you know what? I can agree to that and to a certain extent. But when you're wrong, you're wrong.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like, hey, I killed this person. It's my way or the highway. No, fucker, you did something wrong.
It's like Gavin Newsom. You
You
shut
know?
down the economy. You fucking went out to eat at this laundry restaurant, and you got caught.
Yeah.
And then you want to say you're outdoor dining. Bitch,
Yeah.
you have a fucking what is it, a chandelier over your head. You're around, I don't know how many other people, not social distance. I mean, you're wrong. Just fucking admit
Just
it.
be like, I fucked up.
You fucked up.
I did what I did, and it is what it is.
And as Californians, it's kind of sad that you don't fucking admit that. Like, it's
Yeah.
kind of you're the governor, you're the leader of the state essentially, and you're acting in bad faith. Like, it's not cool, to be
Yeah.
honest. It's not cool.
Same thing with Nancy Pelosi, man. I mean, she tells everybody, hey, shut down these nail spots, beauty salons, and then she's over there getting her hair did with no mask.
You tell them, Rigo. You tell them.
No, yeah, I mean, just basically that, man. Like, what's going on with that?
And it's fucked up because she told those people in the hair salon, "Oh, they set me up." She was saying that those people. It's bullshit. She's fucking
gonna blame
bullshit
them.
artist. Yeah, she's a bullshit artist. Gavin Newsom's a bullshit artist. There's obviously they're related, so it's a family
But,
of bullshit
yeah.
artists. We're bullshit artists.
Yeah, exactly.
So, hey, we can't. I'm just kidding.
But we're not public figures.
Just
Not
kidding.
yet, right?
But yeah, it's crazy. I think people like that should be outed. They should resign and just keep going forward. Move the country forward. But yeah, you gotta know when you're wrong.
Exactly.
But anyways, so Rigo, I know you want to talk about cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, let's bring in the computer. Let's focus in on some crypto here. We're gonna go ahead and show you guys on this CoinGecko. I'm so used to using CoinMarketCap, but CoinGecko has my back now. Bitcoin was sitting at what last time we were recording?
That's a great question.
Like 42, I believe.
We need to write it down. Yeah, somewhere around there.
Because then it surged because Elon Musk had bought Bitcoin.
You're right.
So we're sitting at 47,000 per one Bitcoin.
Right.
Market cap is now 117 shy of $1 trillion. What do you guys say about that, Vinny?
Well, like I said,
Shy of $1 trillion.
I think I said last time it might go to at least another $2 trillion market cap. So this could be an easily $2.8 trillion market cap by the end of the year.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm good. I'm wrong. I get to buy more Bitcoin. But
Yeah.
if I'm right, holy shit, watch out.
And then this
Excuse me.
Bitcoin bull market. Now MasterCard is coming out saying that they're gonna accept Bitcoin transactions.
I was listening.
That's gonna be a flooding of money there, right?
Yeah, I was listening to the Max Kaiser report on the RT network, and they were talking about how Nigeria could be the second biggest economy to mine Bitcoin because they have a lot of oil, and I think they said like half of it is just on flares. They're wasting it on flares. So all this big fire that you see from refineries, and I'm sure if you pull something up, you could find those flares. You can find flares everywhere, right? But they're saying that Nigeria is also experiencing inflation through their currency, and so they're moving into the Bitcoin.
What is the currency?
Nigeria, I don't know what kind of currency, but Nigeria is probably one of the richest states within Africa, country within Africa. And yeah, so they're going to be the second biggest economy trying to produce Bitcoin, which they're already ahead of, they're already figuring it out. And that's pretty interesting. They're moving into Bitcoin. Bitcoin's getting much bigger. We've seen institutions fly in.
It's called I don't even know how to say it.
Nigeria, Naira.
Naira. That's the currency there.
Yeah, the kobo. So think about that, the kobo. And what's the difference? What is the exchange between the USD to USD? Yeah,
Let's check it.
to $1. How much? $1 can you with $1? I know with pesos, with $1 you get like what, 20 pesos?
On a good day, it's 17. I think it ranges like 16 to 22. I think.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I think if you're trying to invest,
it's a fraction of a penny. It's 0.0026 of a dollar.
So put 100.
I'm gonna put 1,000.
Put 1,000. Put the stimulus check. Put 1,400. Convert. Well, what that stimulus check would be
3
on the U.S. dollar side.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you want me to put it here?
Yeah. Well, you would have to change the United States.
Yeah. Right here, I'd have to go to dollar.
Go to U.S. dollar. United States. And then go to Nigeria, Naira.
Oh, I think I have to change this one first, and then I can go to U.S. dollar here.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And then
Nigeria. Sorry, people. There's a little bit of delay, but we got
okay,
this.
so 1,400.
The stimulus check. With what can you get? How much?
You can get
53 million.
269,300.
That's inflation, bro.
Oh wait, hold on. No, I think I did this wrong.
Yeah,
because I added zeros. I added zeros.
Okay. Still 532,000 bocals.
Wow.
That's a lot. That's inflation. See, that's where you know your currency is going to shit. So they're going into Bitcoin, and that's pretty interesting. You know, if more countries decide to de-dollarize, this means all these dollars could come home to roost.
Yeah.
And if that does happen, we could see not this type of inflation or a Weimar Germany inflation, but we could see a 1970s 2.0 with stagflation essentially.
And what a lot of people have to realize is what cryptocurrencies offer is a decentralization from the government.
Correct.
Right? You don't have to worry about, hey, I know I have $100,000 in the bank, but is it really in there? No, you are your own bank. You have your own little either Nano ledgers or whatever kind of digital wallet you have.
Right.
Don't keep it digital. Have a hard copy of it because you can get hacked. But you essentially are your own bank. You know where your money's at. You know what you're keeping it at, right? You don't have to worry about the government coming in and intervene with that. That's what cryptocurrencies offer. Nobody can. You can manipulate Bitcoin. Like obviously these big dudes that have a lot of it can move the markets, but nobody owns the entity of Bitcoin. You know, Nakamoto went missing. he his last thread was in 2009 when the SEC came down. You know, so then nobody owns it. It's not. There's only 21 million ever created, right? And in 2031, that's gonna be the last bit of it.
Question.
Yes,
Do you think there should be more Bitcoins? Do you think Bitcoin should be able to be flooded in with more Bitcoin to drop the value so more people could get in on it? Because I think what discourages a lot of people from investing in Bitcoin is the perception of I need to spend $45,000 to get one Bitcoin, which is not true. You could put in $100 to get $100 worth of Bitcoin. Of course, it's going to be very small.
Yeah.
But if you're dealing in terms of thousands, you could see that number kind of increase. But do you think or should Bitcoin just go to infinity and those who don't have a Bitcoin will be priced out of the future?
I think if it is something like that regarding that question, I believe we should stay with 21 million. Why? Because that counters against inflation. It's deflationary, right? So it's going to always grow in value because we only have 21 million. And the fact that we can divide into 8 decimals of that, so meaning if a family has one Bitcoin, right, and those are their everyday transactions, and you can divide that. I mean, who knows? Maybe a Starbucks coffee can be 0.00005 of a Bitcoin,
which would be a lot. It would be 0.0000005.
Right?
Yeah.
So it could be that you can in turns pay with that, right? Because then that would go for like a global currency, right? But I mean, do we think there should be more gold for everybody?
I think Peter Schiff has a good point. He has a little. I mean, he hates fucking Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin. He doesn't, but he had a perspective on Dogecoin and how Dogecoin is a much better value than Bitcoin does because you could actually have more supply come in, which would put some form of deflation on the price, the nominal price of Dogecoin, and that way people could actually have a medium of exchange, actually go back and forth with actual full instead of fractions. As far as medium of exchange goes, do you think Bitcoin is a good medium of exchange?
I think in that perspective, because I'm a Bitcoin fanboy, I would say yes. But realistically, you would want to have, you can do that. You can back, what if, like I said, any entity backs themselves with Bitcoin, right? And here comes Dogecoin, here comes all this, where that is the medium exchange, right?
Right.
But then what gives a Dogecoin value? What gives Bitcoin
Nothing.
value? What gives dollar value? Well, we
do.
give value,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, we do, right.
So if we give that medium intrinsic value of Dodge, then yeah, it's a good, because there is an infinite supply, right? Well, not an infinite supply, but there's a shitload of tokens.
Right.
Unlike Bitcoin is a stationary 21 million. That's how you're gonna get. That's how that's ever gonna be mined. There's no duplicating it. There's no nothing. So, in a sense of, we can use Bitcoin as the bank to hold that value of all cryptocurrencies. I can see that happening.
But
You know,
okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Like gold, essentially.
Like gold, exactly.
Backing it by gold, getting an interest on your Bitcoin. I see that. I do see that as a medium of exchange. It's not a good medium of exchange. Only because, dividing it by so many decimals is going to be it's going to be a headache for most people. I think that just might come. That's what it'll come down to, right? Just being a headache for people. Like,
yeah, and see, and then I think that's where
that's it. I think that's the only
where Litecoin comes in too, because Litecoin, when Lee created, Charles Lee, I believe is his name, he created it. He acted on silver, Litecoin being gold, silver. You know, the silver to gold.
right.
That's basically what he was intending to. Transaction fees would be lower, it'd be faster. So in that sense, I can see that. Like, if you want a coin to be used as that, yeah, you can peg anything to Bitcoin, I guess, in a digital standpoint, right? And use, like, I'm a sole believer. Like I said, I think the current countries are going to create their own digital currency. They're going to wipe away all their
debt.
physical, and I think they're gonna peg it to Bitcoin because it's happening now, bro.
But let me ask you
Big
this.
institutions are using that as a hedge, right?
Right.
But sorry.
So let me ask you this: what do you think about real estate and all this? Of course, if countries create their own cryptocurrency to put a cap on inflation and kind of wipe their debt completely, have a debt jubilee, do you think that real estate and everything will fall and then try to find its fair market value when things come back to play with the new digital dollar, the Fed coin or whatever it might be? Do you think that'll take place?
I think it would be kind of like when a stock splits. An Apple share's worth $1,000. They split it by 4. Now you have 4 shares of $250, right?
Right.
I think something like that can happen. I think it's okay. You have a property that's worth $800,000. We'll give you this digital dollar that's worth, I mean, it can be worth $1 per $1 could be worth $1 digital dollar, but then how many dollars are printed, right? So that gives you a shit ton of dollars as it is. So what do you do? Do you say $1? No, $100 is equal to $1, one digital dollar, right? So instead of 800,000, now you have an $80,000 worth house, but that digital dollar is now worth 100 of what that would be. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So then that would
break it down to.
I guess it would bring down that, but I guess I don't know what I'm trying to say. But you get what I'm saying?
I kind of get what you're saying. So, I mean, I'm just saying because we're entering this world where everything looks really unbalanced right now in the financial side, in the financial economy. It looks very unbalanced, and most people who live their lives without really factoring in what the Federal Reserve is doing, what the Treasury is doing, what Janet Yellen has planned, and what other countries are doing and what they're doing with the dollar. I think most people have no idea what's coming, and maybe they should look into it. Maybe they should have at least spark an interest and kind of do their own research. But when the time does come when people realize, oh, we're not backed by gold and Bitcoin, right? Let's say our Federal Reserve backs the dollar, or the Treasury backs it with gold and Bitcoin, and people are priced out, and all the inflation goes there, then there's going to be a massive two-tiered society. It's going to be the rich there's going to be most random people that you're going to meet, like, oh yeah, I had like 100 Bitcoins.
Exactly.
Like, oh fuck, I'm a billionaire now, because
it's going to be more it's going to be more casual to be a millionaire if you do get into crypto,
Right. But I'm saying for those that don't get into it, I'm talking about those that are going to be left behind. Most of the people we know, that don't see an interest in it because maybe it's too speculative or they don't have the money to get into it.
Let me ask you this: where do you see our future in, like, say, 40 years?
40 years.
A lot of the baby boomers are dead.
Okay. Where
do you see our money? What do you see going on with our economy? Where do you see our generation? What are we going to be doing? Where's our money going to be at then? Do you think by then the dollar's done? Do you think the economy collapsed, the bubble bursted?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm not even old enough to even realize my own thoughts. So I think
have an out of body experience real quick. And
yeah.
Go look in the future.
I think where the dollar's heading, it's to its extrinsic value, which is toilet paper. So anybody holding dollars will essentially want toilet paper more because you could actually do something with it.
Yeah.
And that's wipe your ass comfortable. I don't think you want to wipe your ass with rigid dollars, unless you're really using them and put them in the laundry and kind of use them. Just kidding. But where our economy, where our race, where our America is going, California specifically, it's going to look like another form of Brazil, like the Rio area, where people are living in tent houses, a lot of families living together, multiple generations in one household. People not, there's not going to be much production because we have the world's reserve currency, and that gives us massive purchasing power. So if it goes the other way, then we don't have any goods and services to buy here because everything would be too expensive, because now our currencies will be cheap, but everything got more expensive for that reason.
Yeah.
But since there's no really goods to consume, we're going to be priced out. So
don't mean to cut you off, but the reason I was asking you that is, can you imagine those countries that are going into Bitcoin now where they would be in 40 years?
Right.
Like, what if they're on the right side of the tracks,
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I think they are.
So if they invest in that now and they switch over to Bitcoin, I'm not saying now, 5-10 years, right? Then they would be the global leaders, right? They would be the Chinas and the United States of the world. Who knows, right? Because then they would be holding the real value, whatever it is. And like we said, we give everything value. And if the people stand up and say, hey, Bitcoin's value, then that's what people are going to believe,
And that's what they want to believe too, of course. I think right now it's a good time to start looking into cryptocurrencies. Not too long ago, or 2 days ago, we talked about, or 3 days ago, forget. We talked about how Cardano is a buy.
Yeah, definitely.
And where is it at today?
We're gonna look at it. We're gonna look at that right now. Let me see.
We need to write down when we're telling people that when it's a good opportunity, and if the price goes up, we'll rub it in your face.
Yeah, you guys got to get on that track. Okay, so we have Cardano sitting at 95 cents.
Wow, 3 days ago. Show me 3 days ago.
So 3 days ago, on what's today, the 12th?
So you could go 7. Okay, yeah.
Is today the 11th or the 12th?
Today is the 11th. 11th, yeah.
Okay, so that was 10th was Wednesday.
It'd be the 8th. 8th.
Oh.
So you have to go 7 days. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll just go 7 days.
Yeah.
I was looking at the 24-hour. So Monday the 8th, it was sitting at 68 cents.
That's not bad. And then
60 cents. That's 30 cents. It went up 30 cents. No, because it's sitting at about 28 cents.
28 cents
in 4 days.
So 28 cents times $1,000. What is that in profit? Let me see.
Yeah, because
I'll look it up. Let me see. 28 cents. So we do.
It's happening, man. It's happening in the real world right
now. $228.
$228 in 4 days.
In 4 days. Think about it. $1,000 stimulus check. Boom. $280. Pull that. Put it in Bitcoin.
And look at this. This is Cardano here. Its all-time high is 118. This bull market, bro, is ripping through all-time highs.
Oh,
it already ripped through Bitcoins. It already ripped through Ethereum's, Dogecoin. It's ripping through all-time highs.
So what's the volume on that? Volume is 587 million.
Yeah.
What's the volume where it's at today? I mean, it's already above a billion.
Yeah.
So it's at 7 billion.
7.5 billion.
That is amazing. And that's telling you the momentum of where this is going. And now, of course, it could tip any day.
Yeah,
any
it could tank.
moment.
I mean,
it could tank. It could
It's
reduce
all
its
speculation.
market cap by
But
50%.
I think it's very hard for it to do that right now in this bull market. Why? Because everybody's talking about cryptocurrencies. You go on the
Yes.
media, CNBC, everybody's talking about Bitcoin. Why? Because Tesla invested into Bitcoin.
Right.
So you're right. So another thing I want to touch base on, where do you buy this stuff, right? Let's go look at Coinbase.
You know what I like to use the metaphor of me being Ash Ketchum, and then my Pokeballs are my different wallets like Coinbase, crypto, and then my Pokemons are my cryptocurrencies.
Yeah,
and so when I
that's
catch
exactly.
one, like Pikachu is always going to be Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That motherfucker never evolves,
Yeah.
but it stays valuable throughout times. And
He's an OG, bro.
he's an OG. Other Pokemons come and go, just like cryptos come and go.
Yeah.
And so, like right now, I captured Cardano, and it's evolved already
it's
to
evolved.
stage number 2. So now it's evolving these Pokemons, these cryptocurrencies with my Pokeballs.
That's a good analogy there, bro. I like it.
Yeah,
It's funny, man.
it's my analogy actually. There you go. So I'm Ash Ketchum of the cryptocurrency world, and I'm just looking around. I have my Bitcoin, I have my Pikachu, but shit, you never know.
So like this is Coinbase, right? So say you're interested in buying cryptocurrencies, you would get started, you would create an account through Coinbase, right? The first thing you would see is their assets, the assets that are tradable on
That's the first
Coinbase,
thing you want to see,
right?
What
So
do
you're
they
gonna
have
see
tradable?
Bitcoin's the big dog, 47,000. If I'm a regular investor and I see that, it's gonna discourage you to invest. But you gotta understand, you can put $100 into this and have a percentage of a Bitcoin.
Once a week, every
Right?
paycheck or every pay period.
Cost average. So then you have Ethereum, 1,700, and you have Litecoin. You have Chainlink, $28. Stellar Lumen. Stellar Lumen's a good one too.
And
Look,
again, we're not financial advisors,
We're not
so we're
financial
not telling you to
advisors.
buy these. We're just telling you what we're finding and what we're investing in.
do your own research. But this is the proof I'm trying to say. Tell me, all right, Vinny, I'm gonna look at this little
Mm-hmm.
percentage.
Okay.
Tell me when you see red.
Red.
One.
Red.
Minus.
Yeah, but that one's what? Flycoin? That could
Yeah.
go fuck itself. Flycoin.
But you see
Go
what I'm
fly
saying?
away.
Like, dude,
It's probably
the
good.
trend is your friend,
Yeah.
right? Everything is going up. I mean, what else? What other evidence do you need? But do your research. Like we said, we're not financial advisors. This is the things. When I get into Coinbase, this is what I look at, right? Look at the names, click on them, go back to CoinGecko, type in that name, do your research, go look at the white papers, see what they stand for, see what they're doing. A lot of the coins listed on Coinbase are actual value coins. You know, some can tell you, hey, Stellar Lumens does this. It allows you to send money from here to Mexico with no fees. It converts your dollars into crypto to pesos. That's what they do.
Can you right now, just real quick, not having to read the whole thing, but can you kind of go in and see where you could find a white paper in one of these coins?
Yeah,
so
for
say
sure.
you want to.
So
go
say
into-
say we go on to say we're on Coinbase and you invested your money, you put $300 worth into Coinbase, and now you're looking at what coin, right? And you're looking, Bitcoin's discouraging you, Litecoin. Excuse me, Litecoin. So then we would go to CoinMarketCap. We would put search, and then we put. Oh, sorry. Litecoin, right? And then it tells you right here, it's sitting at 185. It tells you where you can buy and sell. It's going to tell you its markets. It's going to tell you different exchanges, crypto.com, obviously. The rank, right, website, litecoin.org. And then you would go here, and then you can see what is Litecoin. Litecoin is a peer-to-peer internet currency that enables instant, near zero cost payments to anyone in the world. Litecoin is an open source, global payment network that is fully decentralized without any central authorities. Mathematics secures the network and empowers individuals to control their own finances. Litecoin features faster transaction confirmation times and improves storage efficiency than the leading math-based currency. With substantial industry support, trade value, and liquidity, Litecoin is proven medium of commerce complementary to Bitcoin.
Now you know. But where's that?
So then you would go to
white paper.
Where they have the
Where
white
you at?
paper.
Are you at white?
Let me see.
It would be about. Oh, that is about, huh?
Yeah, no, they
They
should
have a white
it.
paper around there. Well, I mean, if we can't find it, then I'm sure it's there.
That's the source.
Yeah. Upgrading your nodes, concept form, foundation, maybe.
This is the form. But okay, but it's usually
Yeah,
right here. They
yeah, it's
usually have
right.
the white
So
paper.
how about you go to Cardano?
Okay, let's go to Cardano.
Cardano. So Cardano's one that I think it's $100 coin. It's sitting at 94 cents.
Well, let's look at the market cap. What is the market cap sitting at? It's sitting at 30 billion, bro.
30 billion.
Ethereum is sitting above 100 billion.
100 billion.
And this is a competitor to Ethereum. So, put that into perspective. Can you Vinny, divide 100 billion?
Question for you though: circulating supply, where is at 39 billion?
That's what I was gonna.
And then once it reaches full capacity, what happens to the market cap? If that's the circulating supply, if all the coins of Cardano start to be used up, and it starts to trade, circulating full amount, does the market cap go up? And if so, how much?
I would think so, right?
I would think so too. Because then everybody's has some, and people are just
Where is that circulating supply?
up. Go up.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is they're mining out too. They have a total of 45 billion.
45 billion.
Okay, can you
39 billion is circulating.
Yeah.
31 billion.
Yeah.
Where
And this is Cardano here too.
But where's the white paper?
See, I think we were looking at CoinMarketCap.
Oh.
So here you would have to look into their website and pull it from here.
Oh,
which
I
a lot
see.
of them do have their white paper just right there handy.
But yeah, you could also
Usually
go
down
on
here.
CoinMarketCap and look on the white paper. They'll have it there.
Or Google Cardano white paper.
Yeah,
Simple,
Cardano.
you know.
Very true.
But Cardano is a blockchain platform for change makers, innovators, and visionaries with the tools and technologies required to create possibility for the many as well as the few and bring about positive global change.
And I already have an idea to use Cardano. It's just I need to get this app built. And once I have it built, I'll probably have to contact Cardano and say, yo, I got something for you. I need you to help me out a little bit.
We have to contact Charles.
Contact you, Charles. Maybe not, but
but yeah, that let me close this. But that's basically what we do. And when I first heard about Cardano, Cardano was like at 4 cents.
Yes.
After it had crashed in 2018, what like every other cryptocurrency did.
Fuck. If you would have put
when was this? Okay, see, I started hearing about it like right here at 2 cents in 2018.
Yeah.
And then not until let me see. I bought in at like 9 cents.
Beautiful.
Like right here,
You hold all the way?
Yeah, I haven't sold any, dude. I don't. I'm staking it.
That's my
staking. Let me explain what staking is.
Stake
Staking is basically investing, right?
like
for
a New York
yields.
steak? Oh,
yeah.
okay,
So you would a T-bone steak. So say you have 100,000 Cardano, which I don't. Hypothetical. Wish I did. Probably get there one day. But say you have 100,000 Cardano, you would go on to. I like to use Exodus wallet. I shouldn't be saying that because they'll try to hack me. But
it's all good. No one's gonna hack you.
You should you would go to Exodus wallet or to the Cardano platform, whatever. I'm sure they allow you to stake there, and you can say, "Hey, I want to stake my 100,000 tokens for 30 days at a yield of 6 point something, 3 point something, whatever the yield is going on." And what that does, it creates a stable. It makes Cardano stable. The more coins that are in stake, it's not as volatile. See what I'm saying? So if you have a lot of coins in exchanges and always being traded, it's gonna cause the price to go up and down. Say you had 60% of those tokens in circulation staked, that price isn't going nowhere. It's not budging by these other tokens being exchanged. That's why a lot of people like to stake their tokens to kind of obviously to get the yield, but it stabilizes the tokens, not as volatile.
It's not bad. It's like getting paid a dividend.
Exactly, it's dividend.
Nice.
So yeah, if you go on to into Exodus, it'll tell you right there and then how much the yield for 30 days is and
Nice.
whatnot. So
That's not bad. Hey,
but you can do that too. If you can go and you
Definitely
can
do
stake
that.
if you're a long-term holder like myself. See, we can pull profits, but you're in a bull run. You really don't want to, because then you're gonna want to catch yourself trying to chase a pullback, right?
Yes, which is hard.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
that's
then
like
what if you buy that pullback and it goes down more and you freak out and you sell and then it shoots right up?
yeah, that FOMO,
Exactly.
fear of missing out, and fear of getting in.
So I'm big on Cardano. I'll pull out when I know the bear market is coming. You obviously don't know, but when you know that everybody's talking about, hey, the bubble's about to burst, we're thinking September, right? Because of this guy I follow.
Fogey.
Yeah. So when that happens, then pull profits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pull your profits, whatever amount you had invested, reinvest it in there, keep your same amount of coins, but now you pull some profits.
That's important. I
Yeah.
think that's important. And if you know how to play the game, it's going to come easy. I mean, if you know how to play any video game, essentially this is kind of what that is. You just have to see the trend forming before it's already, at its peak. If you see the trend forming and you see, okay, I'm getting in early, but I see the future. I already know what's coming. I kind of done my research already. I've seen other experts' perspective on this, and I'm forming mine. I'm getting in.
Yeah.
Grabbing this bull by the horns, and I'm riding it all the way up. Now, of course, it might take some dips, some stomach-wrenching dips where you feel like, oh, shit, I should sell. Or you could just buy more because you know that dip is a false dip. It's a false drop, and then it goes right back up. I mean, Bitcoin has these dips where people will call, oh, it's a bear market. Don't get in. It's going to sell off to zero. You could fall for that. And I fell for it in the beginning, but you realize that that's just a small perspective. That's just not really. Because you have to see the bigger picture of what it's doing, especially now with institutions and countries. And it's interesting. So
and a lot of things too, Vin, is social media in a way opened up a lot for cryptocurrencies like Dogecoin.
yeah, but they got in late. I mean,
we knew. I mean, we knew about Dogecoin back in the day.
Yeah.
Remember Packcoin?
Oh,
Packcoin. We didn't even know what Pack did. We had like 100 million of it.
I know it's probably something today. Though.
Yeah, it was worth like less than a fraction of a cent.
Yeah, that's what Dogecoin was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was like 0.0009. When I had got into it, I think it was 0.0003005.
Yeah, I got I think I got a 0.0019. 0.00019.
So 4 zeros and then a digit.
No, 3 zeros and then a digit.
Okay.
Yeah, 19.
Yeah.
So I literally bought like a few $100s, which gave me like almost 100,000, over 100,000. I was like, oh, it's a few $100s, and so I put more.
Yeah.
And then I sold.
And then it got listed on Robinhood. Oh no, you were buying through Robinhood.
Yeah, because to me, see, that was key. When I saw it put on Robinhood, I knew it was a long-term hold. I was telling people, trust me on this one. It is the cheapest cryptocurrency that a millennial could get, or anyone in general,
without having to dig in.
And you get a tax reform on it,
Yeah.
so you pay your taxes, and you don't have to worry about it. But it's the cheapest one. It's a meme coin. Just buy it.
Yeah.
And people bought it, and they bought a lot of it. And I'm super happy because now other people are buying it at cents, and to us, that's like, damn, that's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Because if you were to hold on to it for a year and a half, and now it's
and let me tell you guys,
thousands of percentage points above
something
where it
that
was.
I've seen in these Bitcoin markets. Once this bull market is done, it'll go back down to that. It will, because a lot of people pull their money out of the markets, right, and then they transfer them somewhere else, or they pull profits.
Right.
So maybe in 3-4 years when Bitcoin has its next bull run, because then it's every half. When it halves, I think it's when the bull runs start going. Then if you see Dogecoin from when this bull run ends until then, less than a penny, buy it. Because then it's the same cycle that happens again, I think, bro. It's because we've seen it. If you look at the Bitcoin bull markets, and then when it's bear, it's the same thing, dude. It's the same pattern on the graph. So, but Bitcoin could do something different this time. Who knows? Because it never had institutional buyouts like this time.
Yes, but
it's
institutions,
always been more retail.
True, but institutions love to speculate.
Yeah.
Countries love to speculate. And if there's one thing I know a little bit about governments is that they don't want competition regarding their own currency, right? Their own fiat currency.
They'll go to war for that.
Will use the petrodollar as war. But who knows? I see and hear a lot of experts, especially hedge funds that buy, millions, if not billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. Example, Elon Musk, as for his Tesla company. And there's no SEC crackdown on none, nobody. Everybody's fine. Go ahead and it's good. It feels great because you don't have this like this old guard trying to tell you how to control your finance. You're kind of just taking your own personal steps, your own adventures, and you're just pointing. You get your Pokeballs ready and you go and you say, I'm gonna catch you, Charizard. I'm gonna catch you, Mewtwo. And you used to have your Pikachu. You keep feeding your Pikachu. You make sure Pikachu looks good.
Yeah.
You never know. And then you evolve with your Pokemons.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but I do think that
I don't think Mewtwo evolves, but yeah.
Yeah, he was a badass character. I think that we won't see a Bitcoin as cheap as 15,000 no more. That's me being conservative. A lot of people are saying less than 20,000. I think it's gonna not be lower than 15,000. You know how before we could have got it at 3,000, the year before you could have got it at 1,000.
Yeah,
I think you're not gonna be able to get it below 15,000. Why? Because of institutions now. If they believe in it, they're gonna hold it too, right?
Well, they're gonna sell too because again, government.
They're gonna pull profits.
If government says, if they do end up coming, right? There's other experts that have said what they're afraid of is when the government really decides to crack down. When this gets out of hand, who knows if this will happen? I think we're over leveraged as an economy to crack down. I mean, look at what happened with Melvin Capital going under, and we had Citadel coming out, and I mean, we even had legislation trying to get the Wall Street bets, diamond hands, for holding fucking GameStop, and then trying to get these people to sell. I mean, we're so over leveraged that if they attack a market cap like Bitcoin, it's gonna take down more than just $1 trillion. It's gonna take down a lot of capital. And Melvin Capital, I think they had to pay up. I think it was $70 billion or $60 billion, in losses. So, but I'm sure they made some money back shorting it on the other way. But they had to halt trading on Robinhood. They had to make other platforms also restrict your purchases of GameStop, and that's not good. That tells you a weakness and a sign of the times.
See, and I think when that happens, I think when more and more people start realizing the real power of cryptocurrencies, the decentralized ones, I think that when people stand behind something they believe, they're gonna go to war for it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, how passionate are people that don't want to get the Second Amendment taken away?
Right.
Like, no, fuck you, you're gonna meet my gun. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So if us as people believe in something that can bring us more freedom with our currency, right? Who's to say we don't revolt against the government and says, fuck you? You get all these companies that are gonna start using cryptocurrencies, and you no longer need the bank. That's what they're afraid of. That you don't no longer need the bank, right? You don't need that middle person.
Right.
If I'm gonna wire you money, I need Citibank to wire Chase money for you to get it. Vice versa, right? What cryptocurrency does is I can send you directly. We don't need a bank. You know what I'm saying? We don't need that entity in between.
Service fees.
Exactly. We don't need that. You just get it, I get it, and that's it. And I think when people realize that power, where you no longer need, and it could be for anything, advice, negocios that you're doing, it could be for anything. It could be for legitimacy. So I think when that happens and people realize the true power of it, they're going to be like, nah, well, fuck you. You're not going to take this away from me.
Correct.
And I think that we're going to have, because people tend to protest now for what they believe in.
Of course.
People do it all the time.
Yes.
So if I'm passionate about it, I'm sure there's millions of people out there passionate about it, and then we all go out there and we're like, no, fuckers, you're not going to do this, then I think that could start something.
I think so too. I think it really comes down to the authorities being on our side, meaning cops, sheriffs, city representatives, city councilmen, women, being on the side of the people, saying, hey, we need to change the system because it's really affecting our neighborhoods and where we live, and it's coming after us. and we can't have a mutiny happening, because then that destroys all of society's fabric, right? The fabric of society gets destroyed right before our eyes. So I think if we were to, communicate with city council, be like, hey, how much are you getting paid off? How much are you getting on the side with all these? Oh, and who knows? Maybe they're doing it in good faith. Maybe they're not getting paid off. But if we could pass legislations in cities, and then maybe in the state, right, and then federally, then we can make it a better place. Yeah. One thing we need to do is, in a way, deregulate the middle class. Have us pass legislations where we pay less taxes. For sure, take away our federal income tax. Allow us to make all of our money. Like if I'm working 40 hours a week, below the minimum wage, let me make all this money. Don't tax me on it. I'm barely making the minimum wage, or below the minimum wage. And then on top of that, you're taxing me. And then on top of that, you're inflating my money away. So prices go up naturally, and now I can't even afford what this paycheck is supposed to buy me. Yeah, we should erode the federal income tax, and maybe just have a city tax. That way, the money that comes into the city stays in the city, and they could fix the roads and hire and create contracts and start small businesses. It's not that hard. It's just we have so many people with greasy fingers, marking up these bills and getting their own ways. Their own cuts through the bills, whatever bills they pass, and making sure that they benefit, or their special interest benefits, or the bottom line, right? That's what I think needs to happen. We need to get the authorities, the city councilman, city councilwoman, district congresswoman and men, state representatives, to be on the side of the American people, because it's going to come to an end. And when it comes to an end, it's going to look ugly, because government will try to come and take away more rights than they would give you.
Yeah, they will.
So I think we need to come together and, again, reduce our taxes. Allow us not to pay any federal income tax. Allow us to keep our paychecks, all of our money. And I think that'll work. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Vin. I agree with that. And when, like I said, the government comes knocking at your door for your Bitcoin, I mean, what are you going to tell them?
I forgot my keys.
Right?
Hey, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What keys?
Exactly. And I agree. With what you're saying. Mind. I think a lot of, like I said, conspiracy theorists, but I think a lot of congressmen, congresswomen are defected, bro. I think they're put in place because I think the people really running the show can manipulate those people in some or somehow, in a way, because I think it's just whatever the greater scheme is, right? Federal Reserve. The United States does not own the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve is its own entity, so who owns the Federal Reserve?
I think the specific issue, though, with Congress, right, is that there's too many people. There's too many people in the districts that they're supposed to be seeing or representing.
You're saying that the districts have too many people, not enough congressmen or congresswomen, and you think we need more?
That's a good question, because needing more is saying I want more government. I don't want more government. Yeah. We have enough government,
it's just how on our backs.
It's just how we allocate our resources. Where do we distribute our resources? How we allocate them, and how do we distribute them? And I think the way things are set up right now, they're so out of touch that they didn't move with the times. And since it didn't move with the times, it's hard for people to be reached in ways where they could be heard. The Congress trying to reach the people, and the people trying to voice their opinions, and they might say, oh, well, we have town halls and this and that, but see how many people are working nowadays? Or not even nowadays, I'm sorry, but those who aren't working, trying to look for work or trying to stay relevant to their daily lives and find a job, they're not going to have time to just, I'm going to go sit down and hear the city council woman or man or congresswoman or man speak about today's issues or what they're trying to do to better my life. They're trying to find a paycheck. Yeah. To feed their families, pay bills. I mean, so yeah, it's all screwed up. And how do we get it all put back together? It's I said we start all over.
And I think when push comes to shove, and how you're saying we got to get the
and I'm sorry, it's simple to just say let's start all over. It's super simple.
Yeah, super simple. We're not trying to super simplify anything, because it is not a simple subject.
Right.
We're just throwing ideas out there like anybody would, right? Right. It's not like they're going to listen to us, but hey, who knows if we make a movement. But I think when push comes to shove, and we do realize that we do need more people on more authority on the people's end,
Right.
right? At the end of the day, those are the people. Also, the authorities are people,
Right. They're
right?
just people.
Yeah, they have families that are civilians. They themselves are civilians, right? Who they answer to, that's the issue. And I think when they realize that, see, because I have a belief that there are good congressmen and women that go into, we're gonna make a change, we're gonna do this, but I think it gets shut down. Like, I don't know, have you ever had like this, like, oh man, like I've always wanted to do this and it seems so cool, but then you get there and like this isn't what it was made out to be. There's a lot of corruption here. See what I'm saying? There's a specific sample I want to say, but I don't want to.
Look, AOC is the worst at this because she went in saying she wanted to have Medicare for all. She went on Jimmy Dore's platform, and that's how she got
What's her
elevated.
name? Something Cortez.
Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. Now she came in with the platform of Medicare for all, $15 minimum wage,
Being
or living
progressive.
wage, being so super progressive. As soon as she got in, she just wanted to. I mean, her Jimmy Dore sniffed her out, because she wouldn't go back on his show, and she started voting for Nancy Pelosi for Speaker of the House, and she started doing she started going against her own words, and she started voting against her interests. I will come up with excuses and not continue her message, and she would just try to change reality for people who are following her and see it just through her eyes, right? Where she makes sure that her message was lost. So every time her message was brought back up by Jimmy Dore or by The Hill Rising or other progressive news outlets, she wouldn't even like acknowledge those situations. She would just have talking points from Republicans. And if she does fight for a bill, she's fighting against Republicans. She's not really attacking the bill itself. She's just attacking other Republicans, right? Because she's a Democrat.
She's using that as an excuse to fight them.
Exactly.
Not
And
addressing the real issues.
and so she's in for her own financial interests. Really, that's really what it comes down to. So she's literally, it's like there's a famous photo of one of the Rockefellers sitting on top of a tortoise, and he has a carrot, on a stick with the string, right? And he has the tortoise following the carrot. Well, just remove that Rockefeller guy and put Ocasio-Cortez sitting on top of that tortoise with the carrot. And the tortoise is the American people, or her following, right? Being super slow. So, yeah, she disappointed me because I did see her as we have a young person. She was a bartender, whatever. But she went in, she got in. And now we see why she got in, for her own financial interests. She wouldn't, we need people who are willing to serve for the American people with having the interests of the American people in mind. The best interests, have our best interests in mind, but they don't go in for our best interests. They go in for the donor's best interests.
Well, say they do, bro. Say they
for the party's best
or
interests.
say they do go in there, right? But then the minute they get in there, it all gets shut down. Like, no, girl, this isn't how this show runs.
I mean,
or do you think they already go into it knowing what they're getting themselves? Like, okay, say you wanted to be a congressman, right? A Senate.
Right.
You have all your ideas and beliefs, and you can want to take that, but what about when you go and bring it up? It all gets shut down by
No, you just get hated on. Look, Tulsi Gabbard I think she retired from Congress, but she was a congresswoman for Hawaii, and she went in with hard values that the Democrats did not like. They didn't want her to be if you would have saw the Democratic debates where they had all the Democratic nominees trying to go against Donald Trump, she was one of them, and the media was attacking her viciously. I mean, they were going after Tulsi Gabbard left and right. Her own base, people that you wouldn't think would go after her went after her just because she was anti-war. She wanted to come back. She did not want us to invade Syria, and they had smears attack all for every little thing that she was for. They didn't want her to be for, right? And she stuck to her values. She wanted a peace deal done. She wanted America to get out of these foreign wars because she's seen it firsthand. So she talks about her experiences, and it's touching. It's like, wow, you really went through all this, and your own party neglects all the people that they sacrificed for what? We're still in Afghanistan. We made Iraq a worse place. Some people's point of view, they say it's a worse place than when we went in, right? When we invaded. Um, and so she never changed. She kept her message, but she was not loved. Another person that I would look to is Thomas Massey, who is also a congressman, a Republican congressman for, I think it's Kentucky, and he voted against the first stimulus in March of last year because he knew that the American people were getting fed the short end of the stick, and that the majority of that bill was going to go to the 1%. And he wanted a floor vote. So all these people who voted for that stimulus and that knew that they were selling out the American people during a time of crisis and giving the American people breadcrumbs to be accounted for the rest of their lives, so they know, okay, these are the people that sold you out and that don't have your best interests in mind, and they're just making a grandstand. They're creating this facade, right? This smoke and mirrors of a good stimulus for the American people, when in reality you're getting breadcrumbs and the rich are getting even richer. And so he's also hated, but he sticks to his ideals, and I like those people. You do have a few out of hundreds. You have a few, but they're hated, and we need people that are willing to be hated to go to Congress, to go to our city council, and vote for the interests of the American people. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I like that. I like that right there. I'd agree with it. I just think that, me personally, when like you just said, we need more of those people. I think the people that do get to those positions aren't out, like you said, out for the best interest of people. But how do we change that? Do you think there's not enough good people running? Like, at what point are they tinted? At what point does that change?
Tainted, like compromised.
Yeah. So at what point? How come there's not enough good ones?
Well, I think
what changes. Like, at what point aren't they not looking out for the best interest of?
I think it's who they surround themselves with, right? If you have advisors that are advising you the opposite and telling you, no, you shouldn't do that. Maybe you should do this because it looks better. You have a better image. If you talk about women's rights, if you talk about abortion, if you follow this party line, you're going to get more eyeballs. Most of middle America or conservative America isn't going to find you interesting. That's all bullshit. They depending on the advisors and the people you surround yourself with, is what essentially you'll be saying, because you hear it all the time. And so I think it starts there. I think it starts with you getting a solid team who has your interests in mind, that you're going to be a good leader, right? If you have my interests in mind and you're telling me, Ventura, we're going to stick with your message. Anyone that comes in and tries to advise us otherwise, we'll have a conversation. We'll see what we agree on and what we disagree on. But if you don't see our vision, then maybe you shouldn't be in our party. And it's that simple. You just join the party, or you don't, or you start a third party, which is what Jimmy Dore's trying to do.
Well, tell me about that. Elaborate.
I know a little bit. I don't know too much about it, but he is trying to start a people's party, and that way there could be a representative of the American people who are stuck behind, who are the most vulnerable right now in our society. Those that don't have a job, that didn't get a stimulus check to begin with since last year. And those who did get stimulus but are still in a worse position. He wants to have a representative in Congress that represents those people. And I don't see nothing wrong with that. I see it's good to have another party, Most of the parties that are at Capitol Hill might already be compromised, I mean, I haven't heard from any of them. I mean, we have a Libertarian Party, but you barely hear them, The Democratic Party thinks they're Democrats, but they're more Republican-like. They're more centrist-like, And we're run by two party system, which is the same party.
The environmental one too, no?
The Green Party, but that's very small. I think forget her name, Jill Stein. No, forget her name. Who was trying to run for president as the Green Party? I don't think it was Jill Stein. Take that back. I don't know, but yeah, there is a Green Party. I don't know too much about it, but yeah. I mean, I think there's a reason why we don't hear about these parties, because they're probably compromised,
or the powers that be
that shouldn't be. What else?
No, I mean, I kind of like that People's Party. That would be pretty cool. That'd be something pretty cool. Would it last? Who knows? But it would be something cool to have a person representing the people, the actual people, what we think we want to be represented as.
Yeah, for sure we need less taxes.
Yeah,
we're
for
already
sure.
we should start off with let's start off with reducing taxes to having no taxes on the working American class. If you're working a 9 to 5 or whatever, if you're just working on your own, right, a 1099, you shouldn't have any federal income tax to pay at all. You should make everything you earn, and unless you're in a union, right? If you have great wages and you're in a union, of course, pay your union dues. They're there to help you out, to take care of you. Some people say the opposite. I've always had a great relationship. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I think it's a good thing to get into a union if you can, and get involved and learn about it and, do your due diligence with that union. But I also believe that we're such in a dark hole that we can't raise minimum wage now. Maybe we could have pre-COVID, but now we can't. And if we do, more people are going to be priced out. And the People's Party, I think, it's going to be tough, because how are you going to argue for more wages when people who want to start a small business can't pay those wages, or a higher minimum wage?
I think that's when e-commerce comes in, bro. I think a lot of businesses are just going to be e-commerce now, Not a lot of physical. I mean, you're still going to have your brick and mortar stops, but I mean, look what Amazon is doing,
Right.
Amazon just basically had they took away they didn't take away, but now they give you the ability to just shop from home if that's what you want.
Yeah.
You don't have to. And I'm sure they, like, if you open up a business, an e-commerce business, and you can do that too. But who knows? It's tough, man.
Well, yeah, it is. But we're trying to figure it out, and I think we can. I think eventually we'll be able to put 2 and 2 together and help people have a good perspective, or a different perspective, I should say, and kind of tune in and figure out what they can do, because all we could do is just make an awareness, right? I mean, of course, we could go protest. I've gone to go protest. I've just to speak to people, mainly to see where they're coming from, and there's a lot of people out there that are lost.
Do you mind telling us about that?
Well, I mean,
a little bit.
It's
your
just
experience when you went.
Oh, when I went to go
to the protest.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it wasn't crazy. I was crazy, but it wasn't crazy because people weren't.
What were people mad about?
They were mad. Okay, of course they were mad at the George Floyd, of course, but they were mad because I think they were stuck at home already. There was already a protest going on for the lockdowns.
Yeah.
And the Huntington Beach one was the biggest one in California that stood out to me. And I saw those people. I was like, okay, this is interesting. These people are protesting because of the lockdown. A lot of people not working, obviously. They're protesting and they're angry. And then you have George Floyd. And then the angle of George Floyd, of how he died in that short few minutes of that clip, erupted the nation, and it woke up the sleeping bear, and everybody came out. And so I started watching the protests in Long Beach from my house, right? And I was looking at it, and I'm like, wait, so there's protesting, and then right away you start seeing the looting on Pike, downtown.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, why are they only showing the Pike looting? Why are they just showing small businesses being destroyed, but you're not showing the other protests where people are really protesting? Because there were in downtown, but there were 2 separate spots, right? And
so where the looting was going, that's the only thing that was portrayed in the media.
Yeah, that's the only thing the media wanted to focus on, the looting. And so I said, I want to go to the actual protest, because that's where the message is actually at. It's not at the looting. That's not what George Floyd is making Americans do. That's like some psyop fucking, people who know what they're doing getting involved. And, I think they're agent provocateurs trying to cause a ruckus to calm down the protests in downtown Long Beach. And as I was going, I took an Uber there. I didn't drive my personal vehicle, so I took an Uber.
What did the Uber tell you? Hey, I'm dropping you off here as far as you can get in.
I just told him to drop me. I told him to drop me off a couple blocks away, so he could have a way to get out. And so, but on my way there, on the 710 freeway heading south, I swear to God, dude, and I should have took a photo of it. I did not, so go take my word for it. You don't have to. I saw a bunch of cop cars just lined up on the other side of the freeway. Just lined up, a shitload of cop cars. A bunch of cops outside of the vehicles talking. And I'm like, but there's fucking looting going down at the fucking Pike. What are you fucking doing there? Yeah, But of course, I'm an idiot. I don't know the restrictions and the zoning and where cops could be and where they can't be. I don't know any of it. So I just at that moment, that's what I saw. I'm like, what the fuck's going on, cops? Why don't you go? You know, there's small businesses being torn apart. You know, and you guys are all here. You know,
what are you guys doing? Taking
and so
breaks.
I got to the downtown and I saw another row of cops, but lined up to block protesters from walking. And I was just amazed, like, wait, these guys are peacefully protesting. You're blocking them from protesting, which is aggravating this group. But you have another group across that is actually destroying small businesses.
So you witnessed that?
I witnessed it, yeah. I've seen the whole thing.
So what you're saying is peaceful protesters. They're getting blockade.
And people are handing out water. And dudes are looting all the cops.
They're not doing nothing to them.
Nothing to them.
That's what you're witnessing?
Yes.
Wow.
Amazed. And I was like shocked, like, man, what the you know, it only made sense to me that these cops were ordered to do this on purpose, you know? And when I personally went up to one of the cops calmly.
You did go in?
Nicely. I didn't, you know, I wasn't like, oh, fuck you. I wasn't like that, and I would never do that. I respect cops, honestly. I do. I think it's an honorable thing that they get themselves into, and I hope that they all get home safe and that their spouses are you know, at ease, because it's a hard situation to be in. Anyway, so I spoke with the cop and I said, hey, you know, I just want to know how you guys are doing. Are you guys doing okay? I'm sorry that you guys are getting a bad rap. I don't find you guys threatening whatsoever. I think you guys are good people. And then the cops just looked at me and was like, oh, thank you. And that was it, you know. And then I turned around and I saw the crowd and they're all like, fuck cops. Fuck. And it was like white people, black people. It was a mix. It's Long Beach. It's downtown Long Beach. So, and then, you know, I was just like, wow, these people are too far gone. You know, there's too far gone people and people reasonable, and you had all types there. And I was telling people, hey, you know, we need to have peace. You know, we need to come together with cops and have peace and not be violence. And one girl, she looked like she was all fucked up. She's like, fuck you, you're part of them, huh? Fuck cops. And I'm like, relax, huh? She was trying to get all, and she had a poster. I'm like, relax. I just want to have peace. Like, we should have them come to our side. We should win them to be with us, because it's a bigger message here. George Floyd is a much bigger message than race. Yeah. And so I backed away. I went away from that crowd in front of the cops. I'm like, I'm not going to deal with this shit.
They were more focused on telling the cops what they were than
how they were feeling.
Actually the message.
Than the message. And so I walked away. And I started a conversation with someone. It's normally what I do. I just saw somebody say, hey, what do you think about this thing? It's like, yeah, man, it's so crazy. I'm out here because George Floyd. And I'm like, yeah, but don't you think it's a much deeper issue than just George Floyd? I mean, don't you think if all these people were working, they wouldn't be out here protesting and going against cops? Because people die every day. And I'm not saying that cops kill every day, but every now and then we hear of a shooting and the person dies, but nobody protests, just because the situation of how this in the situation of how George Floyd died, it made it seem really bad. But, you know, do you think it's much deeper than that? And that's how I started my conversation with these people. And a lot of people, honestly, were really lost. They were just there just to be there, to be a part of
They just wanted to get out of the house at that point.
Or maybe just witness, you know, maybe just witness it. But again, there was people handing out water bottles. There was nice people, really nice people. And there was your too far gone people that I was just like, all right, I try to communicate with you, but let me walk away. And then the people that I did speak with, I actually had two people's phone numbers that they gave me, because they wanted to contact me. It's like, oh, what part of organization are you with? Like, I like your message. My message was simple. Hey, we should actually have an economic discussion about what's going on and have us, you know, go back to work. My message was completely different than the George Floyd, because I understood that why or how he got to that point was because of the economy. Personally, I just think that because this guy allegedly was counterfeiting a check, and that's why he got pulled over by cops. But of course, he was on drugs and he was on a bunch of other things. And there's a longer video of, you know, from when they got him to when he died. And that's when I was realizing, like, damn, most people are just gone.
Your message was more, how did
Come
that
together.
situation? No, but I'm saying the George Floyd. Your message to that was, how did that come about? Mm-hmm. Like, what instances in his life led him to doing that? That was the message you're trying to bring. Like, it's the overall economy that's suppressing a bunch of people.
Yes. And there's a lot of George Floyds out there. And there's a lot of people who wish they weren't going through what they're going through with those circumstances, and
Yeah.
who don't want to cut corners, but they have no other choice but to counterfeit a check or to steal or whatever. And it's, it's just they're priced out. And unfortunately, it's going to continue, but we're not going to see more of those protests of mass like we had, because it was a global thing. I mean, London, everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's not to say you shouldn't protest. You should, but just follow the actual message. We know there's racial inequality in our world. We see it, but you could change your reality. That's just a narrative that they want you to believe. When the Federal Reserve comes out and he talks about how Black and Latino unemployment has risen higher than whites, like he's trying to give out a message of whites, you're doing too good, you need to do worse than Black. No, it's like everybody should do great. Unemployment should be low for everybody. And if you're one of the people who say, oh, well, see, the government's telling me that my race isn't doing well and I can't do well because of what the government is saying, that's just a false narrative. You're allowing your mind to adapt, and you should, think outside of that.
Wow. That's a good message, bro. That was a cool little story. You guys got the insight on when Vinny went to go join the protest out in Long Beach.
People hated me. I don't want to say people hated me. I should take that back.
They weren't agreeing with your message. You know what? And I'm the type of person, bro, that I analyze. Like I said, I like to analyze. I like to see different sides of the coin here, and I like putting myself in other people's shoes. You know. And I understand that the African American community was hurt at that point.
Of course.
That to me was the way I saw it was, man, like why doesn't law enforcement check each other, right? Is it because they're too afraid to tell their counterpart something? You know what I'm saying? So I think it is what it is. So and quite honestly, like I said, I like putting myself in other people's shoes. So I get why they were hurt. To me, it was like, you don't do that. You don't allow a fellow officer to choke out a person like that. You go over there and tell them, hey, man, like, that's not, like, have the ability to check each other how you would in any workspace, right? If I'm working with somebody, like I said, I do electrical, and I see one of my dudes not doing something right, I'm not just going to be like, well, fuck it. No, that can cost somebody's life. So I would go over there and tell them, hey, man, that's not how you do this. So, but yeah, it's tough, man. And I don't want to get too into, I'm pro cop too. I like cops, man. I appreciate everything they do because, like I said, I like putting myself in their shoes. At the end of the day, they have a family to go home to also. They have a family that they have to feed. There's a wife, kids at home that are expecting them to be home. And a lot of them are good. Yeah, not to say that a lot of them aren't bad, but a lot of them are good cops. And a lot of them just want to get home that day. So I understand them too. I'm not here to judge anybody, right? I'm not here to judge on, all cops are bad. No, it's like anything else. You get people that are bad and anything. Not like Congress. There's good and bad congressmen. Everything.
Women too.
Exactly. So there's, like I said, cops at the end of the day are us too. They're human beings. They have a family to go home to.
Yes.
They do, like you say, they do an honorable thing, and they go to work and they protect. Is there flaws in that system? Sure, but there's flaws in any system, right? So that's just my 2 cents, but
I like it.
But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. And I think we spoke enough today.
Yeah. Definitely.
If you're watching this and you want to invest or you want to get your feet wet, get some skin in the game, look into cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
I think right now I think it's safe to say we're in the middle of a bull market. We still have another leg up. I think Bitcoin might go a little higher.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think it's going to drop anytime soon yet. In case people are afraid of, what if it drops? What if it is? It's a FOMO, fear of missing out. And then I call it the fear of missing in because fear of getting in, the fogey, fear of getting in. Because you might think, what if I get in and then I can't get out, or fear of missing out to fogey, FOMO, same shit to me. But yeah, get in. Don't be afraid.
And if you guys are listening and want to get a step-by-step on how to open up a crypto and how you can send and receive from your Exodus wallet or Ledger and all that, then let us know, and then we can do a video to walk you guys through it, because it is a little complicated.
We'll add it into one of the episodes.
Yeah, we'll add it in. We'll talk about it. So yeah, just we welcome feedback, and we appreciate you guys tuning in.
And peace.
All right, Vinny.